Oh, this actually happened, like, today. Today as in recording today, not today as in when you're seeing this. I cannot record stuff in the future. So, Audacity pull request to add telemetry. So, this is if 5,000 lines of code were added, okay? To implement the network layer lib curl is used to avoid issues with the built-in networking of the WX widgets. Universal Google Analytics is used to track the following events, and then they're tracking this stuff with Google Analytics. They also assign session IDs, and we use Yandex Metrica to be able to correctly estimate the daily active users correctly. So they are trying to work out daily active users of an application that you have installed on your system. We use Google Analytics, known to have really tight quotas, blah, blah, blah. Also record the IP address that the things are coming from. And as you could probably see, 25 upvotes. 1,800 downvotes. 16 laughs, 2 cheers, 324 confused, and 50 looking questionable eyes. Now we go down a little bit. Oh my god, 313 hidden items. Holy shit. This has gotten so much more popular. Oh god. Currently, okay, now this is just people. This is actually people talking about the actually getting it built in. Okay, let's keep scrolling down to the point where... Wait, what was it? 99... Currently over 99.97% of the reactions to the original comment are negative. Clearly the users are overwhelmingly opposed to it. If it gets added, that will be a massive middle finger to people who have used Audacity all these years and will most likely result in a loss of users. Now, I don't have a problem with applications bringing in some form of telemetry. It should always be opt-in. 100% of the time, it should be opt-in. I don't care. Firstly, it's a waste of development time, but if you're going to waste development time, at least make it opt-in. What they should have done is made an issue about it and be like, hey, is this something that you would be happy if we brought in? Not gone and written all of this code first, and then people are going to be like, no, that's fucking stupid. What are you thinking? I know me leaving a comment is not going to stop this feature being included in Audacity, but I want to voice my opposition to this change anyway. Feel free to ignore me if my opinion is inconvenient to you. Yeah, basically everyone in here is saying the exact same thing, where it's just like, tracking bad. Stop doing that. Also, you may want to think about the GDPR. Google isn't known for respecting it, and although it only applies to personal information, the definition of it isn't really precise, and an IP may be considered personal info. That's a good point. Fucking that I didn't even thought of that. Tracking users just opens yourself up to a lawsuit because of things like GDPR. So just not tracking people seems like a much better plan to take. There are two separate issues. Telemetry itself and the sharing of user data with Google Analytics, Yandex, or other third-party for-profit ad-oriented companies. So, I can imagine... Yeah, that's actually a fair point. If they were just doing telemetry with their own proprietary telemetry system and not integrating with Google Analytics, obviously people would be still rightfully angry about this, but I feel like the reason why they're so angry is because they're integrating things like Yandex and Google Analytics. So they're not keeping the data for themselves. They're passing the data on to these external services where we're not really sure what Google Analytics actually does with the data internally. They can certainly tell you what they do, but that's about as far as you can go. Now, I know that Unfar tweeted... I'm being on Twitter too long. I know Unfar posted on here, and I'm not seeing it because there's a shitload of comments, and not all of them seem to be loading. How do I... Wait. I know Armfar commented on here. I don't know why it's not showing his comment. it doesn't show there's extra comments to see either. So I'm not sure what's going on with GitHub here. Because he actually had a really good comment he actually had to say about it. Where he was basically saying, I thought this was a joke. I can't believe this is actually doing it. Yandex seriously like a KGB front? A KGB cyber front? Yeah, I don't think Yandex is a KGB cyber front. But, sure. Where did Unfa's comment go? But yeah, the whole argument here is like, why does a program like Audacity need telemetry? Like, I get you want to do things like user reporting. That's all well and good. If you want to find out, or if you want to have a system where if the application crashes or some issue occurs, then you want to be able to like report a bug in the application. That I think no one would complain about, and anyone who didn't want to use it would just ignore it basically. But in this case, you don't need to collect things like user IDs, or you don't need to make user IDs and then assign IP address, or collect IP addresses, and whatever other information they decide they feel like they need to capture. Session start and end, errors, including errors with that, usage of effects, sound generators, analysis tools who can prioritize future improvements, usage of file formats, OS and Audacity versions. While that's nothing like super personal, so it's not like they're getting like your host name and things like that. Like that would be completely different. That's still enough information where I can fully understand that people would be completely against what's happening here. I love this change. This is a great change that happened. So they've renamed it from Basic Telemetry for Audacity to Basic Telemetry for Audacity, but they spelt Audacity with a capital. Great change, guys. Great change. I don't know what happened to Unfa's comment. I really don't. If you don't know who Unfa is a he's a Linux YouTuber who does audio work. Really good. Like, he actually does professional audio work with Linux. Way outside of my knowledge space to say whether the software he's using is actually good, but from what it seems like, he's doing really good work. So I do respect his opinion when it comes to things like this. I really do hope the devs of Audacity actually do like change their mind with this, because it clearly, like, the users don't want this. Like, maybe there's going to be the regular users who don't really care about this, but the people who actually contribute to your project and the people who actually are really, really involved in it clearly don't want this outside of a very small group of maintainers. And that seems like a good enough reason, if any, to not introduce this feature. Obviously, there's times where you have to ignore what people are saying for the good of the program and the good of the users. But in this case, when basically no one wants this feature here, I think it's fair enough to say that you probably should, I guess, think back on trying this. I realized why I couldn't see Alpha's comment. It's because there was actually more hidden comments. It just puts the hidden comment list in a weird spot. I don't know why, because GitHub's weird like that. I don't usually see threads with like over 300 comments, so I see that GitHub just doesn't really know how to handle them properly. Disabled by default, yes it should be. A user must manually and without nagging explicitly opt in to telemetry themselves. This is what GDPR demands. This is what I expect. Now, I don't know enough about GDPR, but all I know about GDPR is that people have fucking got sued into the ground because of this this European legislation, so I wouldn't fuck with it. That's what I would say. And Audacity is a big enough project where you might get some attention on this, so I would recommend against doing things like that.